Let's take a look at page 40. We're going to do two problems, number 3, and then one step on number 5. So that work that we were doing earlier, finding the theta prime, as it explains here on page 40, that is also called the reference angle. So the theta prime, reference angle, same thing. All right, so let's take 3 pi over 4, and if we were to sketch that, let's see, that if it was 4 pi over 4, that would just be pi, that would be 180 degrees, right? So we're like 3/4 of that, which means we're going to be up here. So this would be like 1, 2, 3, 3/4 pi. Well, that means that the reference angle is this angle here, okay? Do you remember from the previous page what the formula is if you're in the second quadrant? It would be pi minus 3 pi over 4. So we have to get a common denominator in order to subtract, and of course 4 is going to be our common denominator. So we'll have 4 pi over 4 minus 3 pi over 4, which gives us pi over 4 as the reference angle. And we can kind of see that here, 3/4 pi plus another 1/4 pi would give us 4/4 pi, which is exactly half a circle. 2 pi is a full circle, 1 pi is half a circle, 180 degrees. So one technical difference they make here is that they say the reference triangle always has to be in the first quadrant. So now that we know it's pi over 4, we want to redraw that over here in the first quadrant. And so we'll call this just pi over 4, and that is our reference angle. So this is exactly what you're going to do for problem number 3. You're going to get this answer after you subtract, and then they want you to sketch both the original theta angle and the reference angle on that little graph, okay? So that's when we're doing it with the radians. And now we want to try it with the angles. And just before I turned the video on, I tried to make sure that I was getting the same answers that the score key was getting so I don't lead you astray, and I was coming up with different answers. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? This should be working. Why am I not getting it? And then I remembered my calculator was still in radians mode, and I had not switched it to degrees. So you might want to double check that before you do problem number 5, okay? Let's take the 214 degrees. And 214 degrees would be past 180, so it's going to be down here again in the third quadrant, which means we're going to take 214, subtract 180, and so we're going to get 34 degrees. All right, then it says find the sine of the angle and the sine of the reference angle. So get your calculator out, make sure it's in, remember how to do that? Mode, and then look to see that it's on degree. If it's in radians, you've got to switch it over to degrees, okay? Second function mode will quit. I'm back here to the screen. All right, plug in, what are we doing? Sine, right? Sine of 214, close the parentheses and then hit enter and write down that number to, I don't know, like 4 decimal places. Let me see in the score key. Yep, score key they carried out to 4 decimal places. Then we'll go back and plug in sine, and now we'll do the 34 and hit the close parentheses, hit enter. And walla woola, you should get exactly the same decimal number, rounded to 4 decimal places when you write it down. All right, so I want you to finish doing page 40 now.